I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be about my labor and delivery. I tried to record the labor and delivery, but my labor and delivery was super complicated, and of course I'll explain why. So let's just hop into it because I don't want it to be way too long. It should go pretty fast, but I just gotta make sure, and plus she's asleep, so I have to hurry up and do it before she wakes up because my sister's on her way over and she can watch her, but I gotta make sure she doesn't wake up within that time, so I might have to stop the video if she wakes up. But so I'm gonna start at like the day, actually it's the day of my delivery. Technically it is. So I had an appointment with the ultrasound specialist. I had to go see an ultrasound specialist like my whole entire pregnancy because they thought that they saw a mass on her head, I believe it was. They thought that they saw a mass, and they send you to a specialist just to make sure it wasn't like a shadow or something like that. And of course it was nothing. They thought they saw something and they didn't, but they keep making you go to the specialist just in case. So I was going to the specialist. I had only went like probably like 4 or 5 times maybe, and this was my last time, of course, because it was the day before my due date. It was April 21st, and I had the appointment around probably like 2:30, I believe, and I had a vlog that I'm gonna post on it. So I went to the appointment, and of course they did the ultrasound, and the ultrasounds are really long there because they want to check everything, so they're like 30 minutes. So I got an ultrasound, and then the doctor came in, and then she was like, "You're supposed to be having this baby right now." And I was like, "I know," because my due date was April 22nd and she still hadn't came. And so she was like, "Do you want me to what is it called, strip your membranes?" And stripping your membranes is basically like they go up and like they kind of like, it's kind of like checking your cervix, but they like scrape something in there, and it basically makes you start labor, or you go into labor sooner. And so at first I was like, no, I don't want you to do that. And then she was like, "It's up to you, like you don't have to." She was like, "It's just that if you were to go into, like if you were to, let's say, like go into labor on Friday, instead of Friday you'd be going into labor like tonight or like tomorrow morning or something." And so I was like super nervous because I already didn't want to go into labor. So I was just like, yeah, I was like, I don't know. So she went ahead and did the sonogram, and then she was like, "You don't have to, you know." She was like, "If you think about it, I mean, if you think about it, it doesn't really hurt that bad." And she was like, "And if it starts hurting, I can stop." She was like, "It's just up to you." And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it, because my boyfriend was already stressing about her not being here, and he was like going to work, and he was like, his brain wouldn't stay straight the whole day because he was worried that she would come like when he was at work or something. So I was like, let me just go ahead and do it. And I was like, plus she'd be coming on her due date if she was to come like tonight, or if my labor was to start like that night, or if it was to start the next day. So I was just like, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. So of course she does it, and basically she just sticks her hands up there and she like moves around as she's like scratching something. I don't know what it is, but it doesn't hurt at all. And I have a high pain tolerance, not with contractions, but generally I have a high pain tolerance. But yeah, so then after that we just went to Target, and then we went home, and then I ate like a salad from Chick-fil-A. It wasn't well, it was intentional because I didn't feel like eating like anything heavy, but yeah. And so I started feeling like, of course I had Braxton Hicks like my last month or the last like month or 2 of pregnancy, but I started to feel like they were stronger, and I was like, these feel like pretty strong. And so my boyfriend was like, yeah, well, let's just start putting the stuff in the car and like getting ready just in case. And then I was like, I need to go to the bathroom because I don't want to, like, you hear a lot of stories about people pooping while they have the baby, but I wasn't that serious about it. I just wanted to make sure that I went to the bathroom before labor like actually like started. And of course I was already like in labor basically, but I was just kind of taking the contractions like with deep breaths and stuff. And before she scraped my membranes, I was dilated to a 4, like before any of this. Like in my appointment, like in my OB appointment like 2 weeks before that, she was like, "You're dilated to a 3, like you need to keep doing whatever you're doing because you're dilated to a 3. And then my last OB appointment before that, like before the ultrasound appointment, I was at a 4. So yeah. And so my boyfriend starts putting stuff in the car, and we both shower and stuff and like make sure we have everything. And then I started folding laundry, and then they stopped for like an hour. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe she's gonna come tomorrow. Maybe those were just some practice contractions. I was like, she'll probably come like tomorrow morning or something. So then, because it's like at this point it's like 1 a.m. So then I take a shower, I lay down, and I'm still feeling the contractions, and they're like bearable, and they hurt. I mean, they hurt, but I can take it. And then like, I swear, like I sat up and I got like this one like really strong one, and I was like, oh no. And I woke up my boyfriend, I was like, we have to go now. I was like, this is like too much, I can't. Like after that, sorry, I thought I heard her say something. I thought I heard her. But yeah, after that, like we're in the car, and I'm literally like, if they send me home, I'm literally gonna cry because I can't go home. Because, you know, they'll send you home if you're not like, you know, like really, if nothing's really happening. But I was like, I was in so much pain. I was like, there's no way they're gonna send me home because I'm in so much pain. But yeah, so like it's 30 minutes to the hospital, so I'm like crying the whole entire way to the hospital, and I'm like and I like literally, I like, when people try to explain contractions, it's like really hard, because it's like those things are inexplainable. Like that pain is like, you cannot compare that pain to anything. Like it is literally the most painful thing ever. So I get there, and of course this is during COVID-19. So we walk in, and they have to check our temperature. They have to put us on a band that says that we're COVID-19 free or whatever. Oh, there's my dog. That we're COVID-19 free or whatever. And they were like, okay, so he can't come in with you. So I was already pissed that he couldn't come in with me, because I'm like, I'm going through all this pain and y'all want me to go upstairs by myself? So I was pissed. So she sends me upstairs to triage, and the girl puts me in a room. She tells me to get undressed and, you know, everything. And so she starts like setting up everything. And at this point, I'm just like panting and breathing, and I'm like, whew, whew, and I just couldn't, like, because the like contractions were so strong. And she puts the monitor thing on me, trying to like, you know, keep track of the baby's heartbeat and trying to keep track of like my contractions or whatever. And I'm still like out of there, like it's still like so much pain. I was like, I need an epidural. And then she was like, okay, we need to know if we can admit you. She checks my cervix, and I was dilated to a 7, I believe. Yeah, I was at a 7 when I got there. So then she leaves, and I swear it felt like this girl was gone for like an hour, because I was literally screaming. I was like, and I swear like the whole hospital could probably hear me, because it was like so painful. And then she finally comes back in, and I just keep asking for the epidural. I was like, I need the epidural, I need the epidural. And so she finally says that like I'm admitted or whatever, and she was like, we're getting your room ready. So then it took them like another like 30 minutes, I swear. And I was on the phone with my boyfriend, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I cannot take this pain, I need you to come in. And I just kept telling him, I was like, I need you to come in here, I need you to come in here. And he's like, I can't do anything, like I wish I could be in there with you, I can't, you know, come in or whatever. And like then like I'm just like in so much pain, I don't even want to talk to anyone almost. But yeah, so yeah, so they finally moved me to labor and delivery room. And I was like, hold on, I was like, who yeah, so they moved me into the labor and delivery room, and then I was still like begging for the epidural. I was like, I don't give a F. And they freaking like got my stuff out the triage room, and they like left my phone on the table. And so I couldn't tell my boyfriend, because they were like, oh, your boyfriend can come up here. And I was like, well, I don't have my phone. So I had to wait like 20 minutes to get my phone back. And my boyfriend was like, yeah, like I couldn't hear anything. And I was like, I don't know where you had went. And I was like, he was just confused. So I don't even know how they told, like how they got to tell him that he could come upstairs. I don't even know. Like I was so out of there. And then the anesthesiologist came in for the epidural, and I was like, he was like introducing himself, and I I did not give a F what this man was saying. I was like, just come on, I don't care. I was like, this is like the most painful thing ever. Like, you don't understand. So he was really, really nice. Like the doctors and the nurses at this hospital are literally, the only thing that sucks is the food. But the doctors and the nurses at this hospital are literally the nicest people ever. But he was like introducing himself and he was explaining what he had to do and what I had to do, and I was like, okay. Okay, yeah, we can go ahead and do it now. So he was setting everything up for the epidural, and then we finally get it done. You have to like lean forward and do all this other stuff. You can watch a video on it if you honestly want to know. But I got the epidural, and of course it takes a minute to kick in, and basically man, my mom told me this, if you get the epidural too late, you could still feel them contractions, okay? So I still felt them, but it was definitely like more, like it was less painful, of course, way less painful, but I could still feel them, but it was kind of bearable. But I was so tired because I hadn't slept since basically like the day before. So I was so tired. So I was like trying to sleep, and then finally my boyfriend comes in. I don't even know how they let him know that he could come in and stuff. I was like, maybe the girl who brought my phone back told him on the phone that he could come in, but he got in basically. So he was just sitting there, you know, next to me, and it felt like, I don't know if the time was like different or like with me being under, you know, a drug, but I was like, or under, I don't know what the F, me being on the epidural, I don't know if the time was going by faster or what, but I swear it was literally like 30 minutes and they were like, okay, you're at a 9.5. And I was like, a 9.5? I was like, it's gonna be time for me to push. This some bullcrap. I got like 30 minutes to rest. Like I wanted to, like I've seen videos like where it's like they get to rest for like 7-8 hours and then they get to push, and I was like, well, I didn't even get to do anything. So, and my boyfriend had told me like when I was having contractions at home, he was like, we should just go now. And I was like, no, I was like, I need to wait as long as I can to get to the hospital. And then basically I should have listened to him, but I'm a girl. So but yeah, so at this point I'm like, dude, how am I a 9.5? I was kind of pissed that I was a 9.5 because I was like, I need some rest. Like I was like, I know I'm not about to get rest for the next 5 years. So I was like, I just wanted to get a little bit of sleep, and I love sleep. Like I can sleep for the longest. So I was really upset. So then she comes back in like another 30 minutes later and she's like, you're at a 10, it's time to push. And I said, oh, what? I was like, this is impossible. So then oh, I thought there was something on my camera. Yeah, so we started pushing or whatever, and she was like telling me how to push and all this stuff. And guys, I pushed for 4 hours. I literally pushed, I think I pushed from probably 8 o'clock, no, 7 o'clock all the way till probably like 11. I was pushing. It was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Like it was painful because you push when contractions come. And I was contracting and contracting, and you're contracting like every like 4 minutes, I think. Hold on. What, Keisha? Were you on FaceTime when I was pushing?
Yes, I was.
You were on FaceTime?
Yes.
Oh. I was pushing for a long time, right?
It was really annoying.
It was really, really long. And like, she would, like, the nurse would be like, you're doing so good. You're doing good. Great, great, great. And I think that she's like basically coming out and she wasn't even doing nothing.
That nurse was pissing me off.
I know, it was so annoying. Like, she was basically like making it sound like she was like about to come out or something. And I was like, oh, I'm finna get a break. And nothing was happening. So basically I pushed for 4 hours, and it was like the most draining thing I've probably ever done in my life, because I already had no energy from going through contractions without an epidural. And so I pushed for hours, and they kept making it seem like she was coming out and she wasn't. So you know that I heard this, Sam was talking to this girl that they do this to black women. Like, they make them push for hours and then they make them have a C-section. Like, it's a thing. And I was like, did these people play me?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You could have pushed her out. They could have maneuvered.
And then they start moving me down. Like, they start taking me down to the operating room. Sam had to put on like these scrubs and stuff because of course they're operating on me and he's in the room. So I had to sign these papers, and then as I was coming in the room, the anesthesiologist was like, what type of music do you like? And I was like, That's all I remember. He was like, what type of music do you like? And I was like, R&B? Like, I don't know. And then he was like, oh, okay. So he puts on R&B. And then Sam was like, they were playing music while they were operating on you. I was like, yeah, the guy asked me what type of music I like. I was like, I didn't know that they do that. But yeah, so they started operating on me or whatever. And literally a C-section feels like, because you're numb, of course, you can't feel it, but a C-section, and the way she came out weird because of course her head was already down to where she could come out of my vag, and she so they had to push her back up. I could feel them pushing her up, like my vagina, like I could feel them pushing her back up. And then all I felt was like so much like tugging, like that's all I felt was a lot of tugging. And then she finally came out, and I just started crying when I heard her cry, because she didn't cry when she first came out. She like was quiet, and then like I guess they were trying to like wake her up or something. I don't know what was going on. I was under so much, yeah, I was under so many drugs. I was like, I don't know what's going on. So as soon as I heard her cry, of course I started crying, because I don't know what it is. Something just triggers in your brain when your baby comes out and they start crying. You just start crying because I guess you're just happy to hear like them. But yeah, so of course I couldn't hold her. I was like, normally, because I've seen videos of a C-section, not that I was expecting to have one, but I've seen videos, and normally they lay the baby on your chest. They just put, I guess it's because she didn't wake up right away, they put her over there and they started like, you know, cleaning her off and stuff. And so Sam was over, I was like looking at her from across the room, and I was just crying. And then they gave her to Sam, and so I hadn't even held her because my arms are like laid out on this thing like straight across. I don't think I was allowed to move my arms, but Sam just like put her near me, and I was just crying. And then I was like, I started to feel like I had to throw up, and so I was like, I have to throw up, I have to throw up. And he's like, okay. So he grabs his bag, and then Sam's like holding this bag for me, and I'm like, huh, huh, and I keep like gagging. And so I'm like gagging. I threw up when I was pushing too. I threw up. But I threw up. I was trying to throw up, but I couldn't. I guess because they had me, you know, slit open, and I was trying so hard to throw up, but I couldn't. And then I started to feel like I couldn't breathe, like literally. And I felt like I couldn't breathe, so I was like just saying it loud. I was like, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. And then Sam was like, hey, she said she can't breathe. So he was getting scared. But I literally couldn't breathe. And so the anesthesiologist behind me, and Sam said that it was so funny, like everything that Sam was telling me after, because I couldn't notice. He was like, yeah, the anesthesiologist was just standing there on his phone, like just chilling. And I was like, what? I was like, this is really sad. But yeah, so he turns up the oxygen, so of course they had the thing on my nose, and I could finally breathe. And then I just like fell asleep. Like I was just like after like, and then they told Sam, I heard them tell Sam that he had to leave the room because supposedly they're supposed to operate on you for like another 30 minutes, I guess, to get you like sewn up another 30 minutes after the babies came out. They operated on me for another hour and a half because I lost so much blood. And I guess it's because she had to make a different type of incision because of the way that they had to push Riley back up and all this stuff. So it was a lot of complications. So I was in there for another hour and a half. And so Sam said that he was freaking out the whole time because nobody would tell him anything. And he was like, I'm just holding this baby. And Sam doesn't know anything about babies. He's never taken care of a baby a day in his life. So he was like, I'm just standing here holding this baby. He's like, I have no idea what to do with it. And you're like in an operating room, and you know, he was just stuck. And then he was just nervous because he didn't know what was going on, because right before he was walking out the room, I was saying I couldn't breathe. So he's like nervous. Nobody's giving them updates on anything. So then a doctor comes in, and he said that she was like just helping him like change the diaper and showing him like all this different stuff. And then they came in and finally, Dr. Fortenberry, which is my doctor, she came in and she told him what was going on. She said that I lost a lot of blood, and she was like, she won't be able to get pregnant for 2 years because, you know, I don't even know what the reason is. I think it's just I can't get pregnant for 2 years because the incision she made on my uterus or something like that. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, so I can't get pregnant for 2 years, even if I wanted to, which I don't. But I couldn't get pregnant if I wanted to. So yeah, so then I finally go back to the labor and delivery room, which is where Sam and Riley were, and I just kept crying. Like when I was holding her, I just kept crying because she was so cute and I just loved her so much. But anyways, yeah, so then Sam was just telling me like everything that had happened, and I was still like so tired. Like I was just like, Yeah. Like I was like trying to stay awake. It was so hard. But and then we got moved down to like probably like 30 minutes later, we got moved down to the postpartum floor, or moved up to the postpartum floor because it was above the labor and delivery floor. And then they like, what were they doing? Oh, I kept asking if I could eat because I was freaking hungry. I was like, can I eat something? And they brought me some freaking beef broth. And I was like, what the F is this? It tasted good though. It tasted like ramen noodles. But I had to eat some beef broth. And then they just kept like, staying in the hospital is so irritating because the nurses come in like so much. They come in like every 3 hours and you cannot get any sleep. So they come in and they do all this stuff, and of course I had to do like a blood thing because I lost so much blood. I had to do like a blood transfusion, and then I had to be put on iron, and I had like 2 IVs in my arms. I had one up here, which is still a mark from it, and I had one here, and that was in there. Actually I had 3 IVs, and I had this one here, and then I had one in, wait, I think it was down here. No, it was up here. I had one up here, but this one cleared. This one, the girl effed up on this one because my arm couldn't even open all the way when I first got home.
That big ass knot.
Yeah, it was like a huge knot from it, and I could open my arm like this much, and it would be so like I couldn't even open it all the way. Like I was screaming, crying when Sam opened up my arm all the way. Oh my gosh, that lady effed up. She hit like a muscle or something. But I had 3 IVs in my arms, and I had to do like iron thing, like bags of iron or something like that. Iron something. I had to do like 3 of those, and then they had just like, I don't know, like I swear, like when the nurses would come in and flush the IVs, like I'm okay with needles, like I do not care about needles, but like seeing something go into your arm is just the most like weirdest thing to me. So I cannot look when they come to flush out IVs. I cannot look, and I kept telling them that all these IVs were hurting my arm. I was like, I literally felt like you feel like you cannot do anything. I was crying like probably like every 3 hours because I felt like I could not do anything. I hadn't even got up. I had a what is it called, a catheter? Yeah. Where you have to pee there. Yeah, I had a catheter, and they were just like checking that and stuff, and then they finally took it out, and I was like, she was like, yeah, you'll be more comfortable. I was like, girl, this thing isn't uncomfortable. I don't care about not getting up to go pee. I was like, y'all can leave this thing in for all I care, because I did not want to get up to go pee. But I didn't pee till like the next day. But yeah, so what was I gonna say? Yeah, so they make you, like, they took out the catheter and stuff, and I had these things on my leg that squeeze your legs, because you can supposedly get blood clots after having a C-section. You can get blood clots in your leg. So I had these things like at the, like on my shins, and it just like kind of like squeezes it, and like it just keeps going in and out or whatever. But yeah, so after that, like the next day or whatever, that's when they started, like I had to start getting up, and oh my gosh, it hurts so bad to get up. Like it hurts so bad, because first of all, my stomach is fat, and it's freaking hanging over where I had my incision, and it was just like the most painful thing ever, and it was hard. I walked like an old lady. Like I'm literally like walking like this, and I have to hold on to the little IV thing. And I went to the bathroom, and a huge like blood clot fell out, and it was like that big, and it was very disgusting. But I still hadn't peed, so they were like, you have to pee, and if you don't pee, they're gonna make you stay longer. And I was like, I'm not trying to stay in this hospital any longer. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days though. But yeah, so after that, what else happened? I'm trying to remember. I feel like I'm blank on some stuff.
You did pass out, didn't you?
Did I pass out?
I mean, like from the drugs.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, so at this point, I'm still crying. Like every time, like friggin' I couldn't do something for Riley, I was crying because Sam had to do everything. So I was just crying because I was like, I feel like I can't do anything. And then plus, like, your hormones are trying to go back to normal, so that's also why I was crying so much. But I was just crying, like, because I felt like I couldn't do anything. I felt like I wasn't helping her, and I like basically felt useless, so it sucked. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, so then I had to like then my doctor came in and I was still crying. Like, I started crying when she came in. She was asking me questions and I felt like I was just like, I don't know. I just started crying and she was like, it's okay. You're gonna be crying a lot these next couple days. Your hormones are trying to go back to normal and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't know. I just keep crying. And I was like, I feel like I can't do anything and all this stuff. Like, I feel like broken or something, because like it's like really painful the first couple days. Right now I can move normal. It's still hard to like use my stomach muscles to like lift myself up and stuff, and it still hurts to laugh, sneeze, and cough. But it feels way better than it did the first couple days, because Sam kept making me laugh and it was the most painful thing ever. And I was like, if you make me laugh again, I'm literally gonna kick you out of the room. Like, you won't be able to stay in here. Oh yeah, and when they had told us that Sam could stay, they were like, he can only stay for, after the baby came, he can only stay for 24 hours. And I was like, he can only stay for 24 hours. I'm gonna be alone with this baby. I was like, this is not gonna work. And then, thank God, I don't know what it was. This was Jesus for real, because I don't know, they had, the same day, they had changed the rules to where the dads could now stay as long as the mom stayed. Oh my gosh, y'all don't know how relieved that was, because if he would have only stayed with me for 24 hours, I would have been struggling with this baby, because you can't do anything. So I don't know why they would even, especially with moms who have C-sections, I don't know why they wouldn't let somebody stay with them the whole time. I was like, that sucks. Like, it really sucks. So I was like, I was just glad that that rule had changed that day. So he got to stay with me all 3 days, and I was like so happy. But yeah, so then we finally like get home. We finally get released from the hospital, discharged from the hospital, and they were basically just telling me about like the care and all that stuff and what we have to do for her and what I have to do for myself. And at this point I'm like, I don't give a F, get me out of here. Like, I'm ready to go home. Y'all been getting on my nerves. The nurses come in every 2 seconds. They're the nicest people ever, but the nurses come in every 2 seconds. The lactation consultants come in every 2 seconds. The baby's nurse comes in every 2 seconds, and it's just like, you cannot catch a break. Like, they're coming in and I know that that's their job, but it's like really annoying. Like, y'all don't understand. But and when I got home, I was still crying a lot, because I felt like I was like so freaking, like, I couldn't do anything, because it was so hard to like lift her up. It was hard to breastfeed her. It was hard to do everything, like anything. I couldn't even, like, for the longest I couldn't even change her diaper, because my arms were in so much pain from all the IVs. So it was the hardest thing ever. Like, it was really hard. But now it's like kind of normal. I'm on a normal, like, I haven't cried in like, well, I cried yesterday because my stomach was hurting, but I thought I was going to say like a week or something, but I haven't. My stomach was hurting yesterday morning and I was crying. But
baby, bro,
shut up. But yeah, so don't have kids. No.
In conclusion,
no, don't have kids. No, but my labor and delivery story is definitely, I'm gonna rub it all in Riley's face when she gets older. I'm gonna be like, look, you don't know what I went through for you to get here. Like, you don't understand, because it was terrible. It was not, like, I thought, like, every time, like, don't watch, if you're pregnant, do not watch people's labor and delivery stories. Like, everybody's, compared to mine, seemed like they were a breeze. And I was like, what did I go through? Because I went through a lot. Like, it was atrocious. So, and then again, and I also didn't think that I would be having a C-section. So, I literally didn't know anything about C-sections, like, at all. I'm over here thinking I'm going to have a natural labor, and I didn't. So it was very complicated when I had to do all this stuff that I don't even know. Like, I didn't watch any videos to prepare myself, nothing. So I would definitely say, just as backup, watch some videos on having a C-section and caring about yourself for a C-section, because it is a lot. Like, it is a lot to deal with. It is hard to go to the bathroom. It is hard to get up. It is hard to friggin' take care of your child. It is a lot. So please don't have kids. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, I think no, seriously. But watch videos on both. Like, watch videos on natural labor and on C-sections, just in case. Like, you don't know what'll happen. Like, you really don't. Because I honestly did not think I would be having a C-section. I thought I was gonna push her out and be done, but no. And recovering from a C-section is 1,000 times different from recovering from vaginal birth. Like, it's 1,000 times different. It's more painful and it takes way longer. Literally, I had to call my job, or my like corporate number or whatever, and I had to let them know that I had a C-section, because you get 2 weeks longer if you had a C-section. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, to not have kids. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I need to stop saying that so I don't freak you guys out. It's not hard to have a freaking kid. You just don't get any sleep. That's really it. I mean, it's really not that hard. Well, for me, it's not.
It's just
and then plus I knew how to take care of babies before, because I have 4 younger siblings, and then everybody around us had babies. So I was always taking care of some type of baby when I was younger. So it's not that I know what to do when it comes to babies and stuff. Sam doesn't really know. He's never taken care of a baby. He's the baby of his family, so he doesn't really know, or, you know, he's never even held a baby, I don't think. But now he knows how to do a lot of stuff. Like, he does a lot for the baby. But just keep in mind to not have kids. Ever. No, I'm kidding.
If you do, be prepared.
No, seriously, be prepared. But if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want to ask, like, you know, crazy questions, like about like what happened, what did I feel, I'm gonna try to remember, because it's so hard for me to remember everything that happened. Pain. But if y'all have any questions, comment down below, or message me on Instagram, message me on Twitter, message me on, oh, you can't message me on Snapchat. I noticed that a lot of people add me on Snapchat, but I don't add them back, because I don't know how to like make it to where like I don't, like, I'm not that I'm not y'all's friend, but I don't like see y'all's story, because I don't really know y'all. So I don't want to see a bunch of people who I don't know on my thing, and I don't really want to watch your story. But I don't know how to do it, so I just don't add anybody back unless I know you. But ask me questions on Instagram, Twitter, and you can comment down below. If you guys want another video on something, I don't know, you guys can just like a postpartum, like what I use and everything, comment down below, guys. I'll make a video for you, even though I haven't posted one in forever. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Have a good day. I love you guys. Bye. Okay, I'm gonna show you. I forgot to show y'all the baby. I didn't even show y'all her. She's 2 weeks old.
Little places.
Look at that baby. Oh, she's still asleep. She smells so good. This is Riley. This is Riley Alea. Riley Alea or Marty. And she's 2 weeks old as of yesterday. And she was born 7 pounds, 9 ounces, 20 inches long at 12:02 p.m. And she's just so precious. Look at that little baby. And she's still asleep. She don't care.
Okay, give her back.
She's trying to get her sleep on.
Come on, baby. She said, F what you talking about.
Thank you guys for watching.